right. Welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, in a special White Mountains of Arizona remote show, joined by Randy Angston. What's up, buddy?
Hey, my friend. Good day.
It's a great day. It's a great day when you're in the mountains and the weather's about 65, a little drizzle. You can still see your breath in the middle of, well, I guess August 1st. In Arizona, I think July every day was 110 degrees.
Over 110. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. We got to wait a little bit. It's been nice. It's just different. I mean, when we left, it was almost 60 degrees different door to door.
Yeah. Wow. And while we're up here, we set up a podcast too, because I knew we were going to be spending a lot of time up here. Might as well continue the content drops for everybody. And this episode's going to be good. It's going to be a good one because it's going to make you want to think a little bit. What we're talking about today is exit strategies on your gym. Okay. So when you start a business, a lot of times that's not even the first thing that comes to mind. It's not even in the thought process. Is like, what am I going to do with this thing? You're just so excited to get it started. You're very, you're fired up. You're working in there every day, and 5 years, 10 years, 15 years go by, and you find yourself in a pickle because you don't have a business that can even be sold.
Yeah,
and so we want to bring this front and center. To make sure that, we're doing things in our business that, hey, if one day I wanted to turn this over to somebody to sell this, that you have an operational business that isn't necessarily a job for the new owner, because a lot of I would say 99% of the time, somebody coming in to buy your business does not want to buy a job. They want to buy the business. And so we're going to define self-employed versus business owner using Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, which is something that we really preach on, and really the difference between self-employed versus business owner. If you are in your business running a position, the business needs you to run and operate. Either you're training, you're doing sales, you're doing books, you're doing, even if you're overseeing the business at some level, if you're not involved in the business will then fall apart. Then you're essentially self-employed.
Correct.
You own your job, and you got the worst boss in the world because you are the worst boss. And so you got a lot of gym owners that live in this kind of fantasy land, like, hey, I own a business. No, you own a job. And really the other side of the coin is if the business runs on systems, regardless if you're there or not, then you have a business, right? And so when you're going to sell a business to a potential owner, they're going to look at that. They're going to say, like, hey, how involved is the owner of the operation in the success of this business? Run without them? Because if I'm buying a business, I don't want to be in the day-to-day.
Yeah.
You have enough money to that purchase a business. You're not trying to put yourself, in an 80-hour work position, right?
And that's exactly it, right? The people, it's an undesirable sell for many, right? The people coming in have to be willing to be that owner operator, knowing that they're going to get their feet wet, be in the day-to-day. But that's not exactly a desirable thing for most, business owners looking to purchase another business. They're looking for somewhat of a turnkey profit opportunity, and so it is tough, right? At the end of the day, if you don't have the business, you might have a great client book. And that's really the wealth of what you can sell.
And that's the tough part, right? If you don't have recurring revenue, if you just have the list of your clients, if you're the one doing doing the operations, you don't really have a sellable business. Now, the one type of person that might purchase a business like that would be a trainer in your gym that's already in there working already, and then they want to move into that owner role, and then maybe you can move out. I could see that happening. But listen, guys, if you're not profitable, if you're not keeping good books, if you don't have systems around each and every aspect of your business, that's not sellable. That's not desirable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's been plenty of businesses sold to unsuspecting owners or naive new purchasers that got in over their head. They didn't realize what they didn't know, and now they're stuck with a job that needs to be fixed. And hopefully, really the point of this show is to hey, take a hard look at what you're doing. Maybe you're not ready to sell today, but you need to build your operation to a way that it's going to be able to be sold.
Absolutely.
And so first things I would focus on is, what do you do in the gym? What is your role? Is there ways to replace yourself? You know, if you're a salesperson and that's all you do, maybe that's an easy replacement. But if you're a salesperson, you're also writing the emails, you're doing the blog posts, you're doing the social media pictures, you're training clients, you're doing programming, you're cleaning. That
You are the business.
you are the business.
Yeah.
And so, listen, you got to do what you got to do in the beginning. I get it. You're going to wear all the hats.
Yep.
But there comes a time like, listen, what are we doing here? What is the point of this operation? And so build it to sell is the way I would position it, even if you never plan on selling, because eventually you're going to need to.
Well, it goes back. I mean, when we had Mike McAllowitz out in Orlando, one of the things that resonated with me, and I think it'll always carry on, is as a business owner, your job is job creation, not fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start your business with that kind of belief or mentality, you're baking in staffing structures, you're baking in systems, all of those things that are actually, carrying the weight and the work of the business.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start with that kind of mentality, it just becomes natural. You don't find yourself stuck down the road because there's no way. I mean, at the end of the road, there's not enough time to go throw all that stuff in there when you really want to sell now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too late, too little, too late. I mean, and I would argue, even if you're an owner that doesn't train, but if a coach leaves or goes on vacation or sick, you find yourself on the training floor, you're still not an owner.
You're still too close. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to have layers between you and the business. And so, at least in my position, I have a couple layers. I've got the coaching staff. We backfill each other, and then we got Zach.
Yep.
Zach backfills that stuff. I'm not really ever needed, for the operation. I'm needed for guidance.
Sure.
I'm needed for question and answer stuff and strategy. And I think that's a place where a lot of gym owners would love to get to. And I think I was telling somebody in our Iron Circle, like what was the catalyst for me to finally pull the trigger? Because I'd be honest with you, if I didn't have this happen, I may still be in the role. I mean, because when I enjoyed AM2, what else was I going to do? I'm just sit at home, watch TV, Netflix. No, I'm going to work. I'm going to go in and get job done. So the catalyst was ProFit. So when ProFit was taking off, it forced me to find a director, which was Brent at the time, to backfill that role. So I didn't have to be there, so I could focus my time on ProFit stuff. And I think that might need to be the catalyst for a lot of gym owners. You may start finding yourself investing in real estate on the side, and you're needed over there full time. Well, you got to replace yourself. And so that, forced me to do it. It was a rocky start, but it was the best thing that ever happened because, now we're off to do other things.
Yeah. I'm completely, running multiple businesses now.
Right.
And even more since then. But, you nailed it with the roles and responsibilities. That's where it all comes down to. I mean, even if you looked at your business today and you said, as the owner, what are the functions of the business that are on my plate? And you had the realization, like, of course, guys, like we don't expect that you just have money laying around to hire anybody you want or go pay for, systems or software, or whatever. But at least now with the roles and responsibilities, that is your game plan. That is the path forward. It's who do I need in order to fill this, right? It's a who, not a how, or the systems that need to happen. So those things happen without you having to, manually go do them yourself. And when you get clarity on that, that's how you build yourself towards that exit goal. You build that true business as opposed to that self-employed situation.
Right. And one of the best systems that we install is the CLA.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear us talk about this automation. The automation, when you build a CLA and that's a sellable asset, by the way.
Yes.
If you've got a potential owner coming in and you show them the CLA system that hooks into all your lead sources, books appointments on your behalf, moves people through different journeys automatically, and you don't have to do anything, like that's very appealing. Okay.
Yeah.
That big chunk of nurture is taken care of by system and not necessarily people that you have to pay. We've had gym owners not hire admins because of the CLA.
Yeah.
And so like, that's one of the, I know I built it, I know we use it, but I've seen everything that exists in the market. Nothing touches it. I don't know. I mean, I know I'm biased, but I've tried to go high level and try to produce the CLA the way I want it to work. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work over there on that system. It has to be on the system we have it on. And so we talk about systems in business in our business accelerator program and stuff, but like that's a turnkey, like
It's
that's
an
a
asset to the business.
it's a big chunk that gets handled immediately. The other side of those systems, obviously, everything from your program design,
Mhm.
semi-private pro is a
System.
system, and that's purchasable. You can purchase that as a system, and now that's done. That big box is checked.
Well, think about, I mean, and the other option is who's doing your programming in your gym. If it's sitting on your plate, you don't have a system, you don't have a sellable, desirable, any opportunity for somebody to come along.
I'll even piggyback on that. If one of your coaches is doing it, you don't own it either.
You
So
don't-
if that coach leaves, so the programming itself has to come top down. It needs to be owned by the business. And if you don't have a system around your programming, you're back in the self-employed role, and it's not sellable.
Yep.
And so you've got to get that off your plate. You got to get the marketing and nurture off your plate. Sure, you can use agencies and stuff to drive ads, like drive leads, but you have to own that nurture process, because I never want to see a gym owner having somebody else nurture their leads and call their appointments to set them, because you don't know what the hell they're saying.
Oh yeah.
And you don't own that either.
There you go.
So
yeah. And let's be honest, there's only so many things. You don't have to own every single aspect of the business, but you have to have, the 85%, right? There's some outsourcing that can be done. There's some things like that. If that agency doesn't work out, there's hundreds of other ones that can fill that need. So that might not be one of the things that you need to pick up and do within your business, but you have a process. You pick up the ball where they, drop it off to you, and the business and the systems of the business carry the weight.
Right. So you got the programming, the lead nurture and marketing side, and then you got the sales side, and you got the customer service stuff. That's pretty much it. You own your product. The proprietary way that you train your clients, I guess that goes back into programming, but like on the training floor, having a system around, we call ours as the standard, that we created non-negotiables that have to happen on the floor. That's a system. Everything's systematized. There's no questions on what do I do today. Everybody knows.
And I think there's a horrible, I guess I'm sure that there's a belief, because I've talked to so many gym owners, and we just did that. Me and Zach did that podcast about the self-limiting, my clients won't mentality. Gym owners want and love the idea of like, what I do is so unique, my type of programming and all of that stuff. And it may be, but you have to be able to articulate that, and you have to bring it to a system, because our point of this whole show is if you are the answer to all of these things, you don't have a business, you have a job, and you are the fulfillment. And so, getting all of that stuff, from the proprietary aspects of your programming to anything, it's got to fall into a system. It has to.
Yeah, it has to fall into a system. And really the value of your business comes down to the owner involvement. It really is. I saw a benefit. Yeah, well, the owner benefit, that's where the money comes, but the multiple the multiple on the revenue comes from the involvement of the owner. Meaning, if you're highly involved as the owner, you get a 1 or even a 0.5. And if you're completely absentee, you're looking at 4 or 5x, which that's
where you want to be.
That's that's a hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million swing, based on you being involved or not. Because that's it.
To what I was kind of getting at, like the uniqueness of what we want to bring to the table doesn't mean that by bringing in systems you devalue or lose that. You're actually solidifying that, right? Because at the end of the day, our job, if you may, right, what we need to bring to the marketplace is a repeatable client experience. It doesn't have to be identical, but it has to be similar, right? Our clients are coming in and they expect the music, the energy, the conversation, the standard, right? The greetings, all of those things should be like a Starbucks in our fitness facilities. And when you can create systems, hell, guys, from everything from how you answer the phones to how you greet the people walking through your door, these are systems, right? Put them into SOPs, standard operating procedures, put them into manuals, put them into trainings. Hell, you could do it online now, and you could have somebody go through a training portal, in Kajabi or another, learning management system, and all of that stuff is a system. But to that point, that is a desirable aspect for anybody coming along looking to buy that business.
And back to your point, it doesn't have to be sterile.
No,
it could be absolutely off the wall wild. I know there's gyms out there that do some crazy stuff, but it's very systematized.
Yeah.
And so, like a lot, like I think a lot of what people think is if it's systems, it's so
cold
boring,
and
it's cold,
yeah, hospital like.
No, it could be super cool and wild. It has to be repeatable.
You know what's cool about systems?
What?
Money.
Time.
I'll be unique as hell and broke, but I would absolutely rather have like money in my pocket to do the things that I know I need to do consistently.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. It's a consistent, repeatable client experience.
Yeah. So this is like really a reminder. I'm sure you've heard something similar, if not direct from us before, from somebody else. But a lot of times we need to be reminded and be told several times in a row, like, oh crap, it is me. So I guess the challenge would be, or the action plan for you listening to this episode, if you find yourself like, hey, dude, I'm so involved in the day to day, I'm always involved, like I can't get out, I'm ball and chain, audit your time. Where are you spending your time? Who on your team can do some of the things that are on your plate now? Can we start creating SOPs, standard operating procedures for sales consultations, standard operational procedures for answering the phone, greeting the front desk, clean up and open and close procedures, air conditioner settings, volume of music settings, the type of cleaning you do, what the cadence is. Like this is all that it all has to get done. And if it's not written down and have a plan around it, it could happen or not happen. And so you'll find yourself, you probably have a lot of stuff in your head and, oh, this is the way we do it, but just freaking write it down or do a video. Like you were saying, everything that you do in the gym needs to have some SOP around it.
Yeah.
So, and then back to your point about training new employees, that's technically a system in itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
How we onboard a new coach has to be systematized. And the training, I think the best bet is to do the training on a video portal so that everybody gets the same exact training. It's not what the guy before you that you're like the person that got hired to replace is trying to train the new guy.
The game of telephone.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Everything kind of loses.
Or the newest hire hires, trains the newest hire. No. Do you want your business to work like a game of telephone?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Exactly.
Because those people are like, well, this is how we're supposed to do it, but this is how I've been doing it. And now it's not a system. Who's running the show? Guys, at the end of the day, I mean, systems, they're not, it's not the sexiest thing that we talk about.
No.
It's not, oh hell, that new lead generation campaign that everyone's. But this is the stuff that will absolutely change your business today. It'll give you the opportunity for your future. I mean, we work with gym owners that are in their 20s, and we worked with gym owners in their 60s. And I could tell you that the guys in their 60s that didn't have these things are now acting out of pure desperation. They're trying to figure out what the rest of their life looks like because they don't have a sellable commodity or sellable business to actually walk away with, right? They were under the impression, like we said, they felt they were a business owner, but when the application comes and they actually have to go open up the doors and see who's those potential buyers are, nobody's looking. Nobody's looking, guys. Mike McCallach challenged everybody in the Iron Circle that day to 1 year from that event to take 4 weeks off their business. If you can't take a week off your business today, you are not a business owner. These are harsh realities, and it's not a problem. But if your desire is to have an exit goal, be able to sell this business, then allow this to be your path, right? This is a little wake up call. Go make those changes. Bring these things into your business.
Here's the thing I never want to see happen is a 15, 20, 30-year gym owner close the doors one day because the lease is done and they liquidate their equipment and they move on with their life without any value for the 30 years of work they put in.
We've seen it. And they try to sell a client list, but what's a client list when?
Well, you see it on Biz Buy Sell where you're selling like Anytime Fitness is for 20 grand or the equipment value. And it's like, man, I worked too hard for decades to sell something for 10 grand or the equipment costs, you know what I mean? So, wake up call, I think, for a lot of people. If you're young and you're listening to this, you get a jump start. You get a big advantage over those that just kind of meandered through the business life and never really paid attention. So I want you to picture the selling of your business. You're I don't know, however old you want to be. Let's just say you're 50 years old. You've been doing this for 20 years. You started when you were 30, and you've got a buyer and a husband and wife on the other side excited to buy your business, and you're signing the paperwork, and you get a wire transfer over to your account for 6, 7 figures, maybe more. And then the portal opens up and you do whatever you want with your time. At least you got value for your operation. And for a lot of you, this is your retirement plan.
Mm-hmm.
Make it worthwhile. Get that multiple, get out of the business, have a profitable, clean books. All of it counts. So
that's a really good point. I mean, drive that one home. I want to drive that one home a little bit because a lot of, we speak with gym owners every day. Like the idea is I'll sell my business and I'll retire, I'll be able to live off that retirement or the funds from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you better have all of these things in play.
Yep.
I mean, your business runs like a franchise. It's crisp, it's clean. Anybody who walks through the door can experience the same, deliverable. And then your employees know exactly how and what to do anytime something comes up. Like that is a beautiful business.
And a system for replacing.
Yep.
So having your job descriptions ready to post, where you post them, what your interview process is. Guys, it's everything you do needs to be systematized. I know it's like we said, it's like, but it's super sexy when, hell, I'm up here in this cabin and I don't have to be anywhere, right? It's like, it's kind of cool, kind of reaping the rewards now.
Yeah.
After, 14 years.
And you can't, and that's the thing is like, at the end of the day, systems replace your time and money,
mm-hmm.
right? And so whether it's a system, meaning software for nurturing leads, or whether it's a staffing structure that the work falls on, your employees or your staff, both of those are you replacing your exchange of time for money. That is that ascension that we talked about. That's the step into that business owner role. It's the relationship that you have with earning wealth. Ultimately, right, the next step after that would be investing, an investment, making your money work for your money. So if that's the goal, if that's where you want to be, you have to start the process now. You have to have these things in place because nobody's coming to save you.
You don't have to, you can, like, I'm thinking about me. I'm in 3 quadrants right now at the same time. Yeah. So it could all happen. So listen, guys, hopefully this helps. Maybe it'll wake you up. Maybe you didn't even think about this. And so hopefully that is the wake up call that you need. Go get to work. If you guys need help, you know how to find us, winninggym.com/call, probably.
Yeah.
PF Marketing.
PF. Yeah.
But it's in the show notes if you need to get a hold of us. That's it for this episode, guys. Until next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye.
All right. And thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. And when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.